Greetings, God of Gold, back again with a new video. As promised, I have been kind of taunting the idea of making a Legend of the Guardians video. The problem is, I have never came around to doing so after that other theory that I made about the whole sequel situation. If you want to go check out that video, please select one of the links on the video or near the end. You should be able to see it. I'll explain as much in detail as I can of what I know about this video's theory so far, but if I missed any details, feel free to comment down below and let me know. Anyways, why don't we get started? To start off, Kludd, the brother of Soren in Legend of the Guardians, as well as the books and the movie that came out. Now, I understand typically throughout the media and pop culture references that happen, the books are heavily different compared to the movies because there's a lot of inaccuracies. There's only, 1 to 2 hours of content that they can do for a movie. That's not really a lot, and it doesn't give them a lot of ability to actually show the full story. But, as far as I know, Kludd, he started off as a good owl, or at very least kind of confused. Or at least he started off good, then got confused, then he turned to the way he was. He joined the Pure Ones, to make a long story short. However, originally, when him and his brother were captured by the Pure Ones, before Kludd even did anything to, I guess, prepare himself to be a Pure One, they were trying to hatch some kind of an escape plan. But Kludd, of course, stayed behind. Primarily because he had some kind of fascination with their secondary leader, Naira, who is a white owl, which in the movie, I don't know why it looked like she had red eyeliner on, but I guess to kind of give the idea of maybe a warrior, I don't know. Either way, he had a fascination with her throughout pretty much a good amount of the movie. And aside from that, she trained him, she taught him all these theories and all these things, this Pure One ideology of how this group of owls, I guess Tytos, are like the superior owls among all the other ones. Say, for example, Spotted Owl. But that doesn't make any sense to me, because when it kind of not only sounds like, well, something in history, I'm not going to say what it is, but it sounds very similar to that. But also, how is it a superior race for two reasons? A, I mean, they lose, pretty much. And B, Kludd, who, as we know, it seems like he was fed this lie, and it seems very obvious that it was a lie, because, after all, the Pure Ones were very brainwashing towards the other owls. And it seems to me they got whatever they could. So this so-called superior owl group or race thing, it seems to me that it's not entirely true on their behalf, because they're probably very flexible in recruiting as many owls at a young age as possible. Now, the problem with the Pure Ones is that they seemed almost kind of hive-minded. I don't want to say too hive-minded, not something like the Borg from Star Trek. But they are some kind of, they're certain kind of, like a collective of, or like a tribe, basically. I don't know if they're nomadic, even though that they clearly have a fortress that they settled at. I think what was it called again? I'll probably put it up on the screen, just so that I know. Basically, these owls were taken from a young age and trained to become pure ones. Fast forward, he encounters Soren again, but Soren isn't pleased about what happened to him. Kludd is not the Kludd he knew. After that, all because he was twisted and infatuated by Naira, which I don't know if that was the only reason, probably the biggest reason, but basically she was a massive, major reason as to why he turned. So when they reunited, Soren was fighting him because Kludd was attacking him and he was just trying to defend himself. He was trying to convince him basically what he is thinking is wrong. So basically, it's very reminiscent to Star Wars Episode 3. For two reasons. If you look at the scene from the movie mainly, you'll see that it's surrounded by fire, which, I mean, Mustafar, really? Now, I don't know if it was inspired by it or they just copied it. I don't know. You be the judge of that one. Anyway, my biggest theory, after briefly explaining all that stuff as much as possible in detail, we have to figure something out. Is Kludd still alive? Now, this is a question that has been lingering on people's heads for quite some time. And in fact, it has been over 15 years since this movie came out. And it's very hard to determine what will happen next. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think this movie's going to happen. If you don't know why I think that, go check out my channel and you'll see will the second one ever happen, and I'll share my in-depth detail in recent years. Because Zack Snyder was the original director and stuff like that, but I'm not going to get into it this video. Is Kludd still alive? Now, let's say, for example, there is a second one made. I want to say yes for a few reasons. And you're probably thinking, well, what about that hidden ending, or at the very least, that clip of a pair of red eyes from Black Smoke? It seemed like he was coming out, or at the very least, he survived that fight. Now, yes, I do firmly believe that too, that he did in fact survive this encounter with Soren. However, I don't think he's going to look the same way coming out of that fight. Because again, it heavily references Star Wars. I'm sorry I keep bringing that up. But look at the scenario. I mean, what does fire do to any animal? It scorches them, right? It burns them. It can damage the skin. And sometimes, permanently. It could leave scar tissue. It's just a simple fact. So, what could Kludd look like? Now, there are tons of artwork out there. Some may be a little stranger than others. But as you know, the thumbnail in the video, I left the credit of the original creator in the description down below who made this art piece. I wanted to, thank him for making it, and credit goes to him. This guy, Kludd, obviously looks burnt to shit. And I want to say, if he is the new Metalbeak, which that's another part of the storyline, that would definitely suit his appearance more. Now, of course, I don't know if it would take place years after. I would assume they would. Maybe Soren is much older and he becomes a guardian himself, but he's this time highly trained. Whereas Kludd, he's just this vengeful barn owl. But again, the question, going back to that very quick, is he alive? I want to say I am leaning heavily yes. I want to say he is. But just because I say that, it's still my opinion. I don't know if, you have the same opinion as me about him. I don't know if, Zack Snyder confirmed anything about it years ago. I have no idea what has happened. Or I have no idea what they were doing behind, closed doors. But I'm going to have to say, because of that clip alone, because of the concept art, because of the speculations over the years, yes, I think he is alive. Because, well, did Anakin really die when he was burnt? Yeah. He didn't die until way later. But that's besides the point. Now, you're probably wondering. Like I said, we don't know if a sequel will actually happen, but go check that out. How would this scenario play out with Sauron re-encountering him again? How bloody of a fight could this be? Now, that could be another theory, maybe for another day. I just wanted to go over some basic details today as to what could have happened to Kludd. To make a long story short, sum all this up, he is likely scarred beyond recognition. He probably wears Metalbeak's helmet and is probably with Nyra leading the Pure Ones, following everything that has happened. Now keep in mind, Kludd was still young when that happened, or seemingly young. But if he, fast forward to years later, we could see how it manifests, how it grows into becoming this lore of the Pure Ones trying to get revenge. And who knows, what if they actually did something that would undermine the Guardians and possibly their tree gets destroyed? Who knows? I'm just spitballing here. But enough about those theories for now. If you want to see more of my theories, or if you want to hear me talk about this franchise more, if there's another franchise theory you want me to talk about, please comment down below. I cannot understand what people want if you don't comment. So, it helps me and it helps the channel. Also, while you're here, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos. But, for now, I leave you with this one. I think Kludd is alive. If you think so too, well, there you go. Alright, God of Gold is out. Have a good day. Just a quick note. Kludd was fueled by rage and sibling rivalry because of the jealousy that Sauron had with his parental favoritism over him. Therefore, that was one way it got fueled. The other way was, well, Nyra, of course. And, of course, the lies that he was fed because he was seeking something greater. And, well, the Pure Ones supposedly offered him this greater power that he could have under their leadership. So, just kind of wanted to throw that out there.